Hello, it's me, Crazy Rebecca Dances with Pitbulls. And look, the signs have been reunited. If I can just remember now that they're here together, I'll be good. Excuse me. So, it's story time. And you can gaze at these while I'm telling my story. I was married to husband number 2 for approximately almost 6 years. We dated probably 2 years before that. But at the end of 2011, he decided he didn't want to be married anymore. And I got upset, and then I thought, oh well, your kid's driving me crazy anyway. So I left and came back here to Illinois. And honestly, I've never been happier. So that was good, right? But he came back also and brought that kid with him. And I told him on the phone, I'm like, look, just stay away from me. Keep that kid away from me. Whatever. Well, I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to see either of them. Well, I knew his mother sold crafts at Gordyville, the big flea market that I've been stopping by. So for like 5 years, I did not go to Gordyville. Because I didn't want to see them. Because we went, my boss and I went once, and we saw them, but we like, we avoided detection that time. So fast forward, or rewind again to, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe, or 1 year ago. Maybe more like 1 year ago. And I was still riding with my boss, so it had to be 2 years ago. And we took a different... She goes, why is everybody turning off at Rantoul? I said, I think it's because it's Gordyville. And she's like, do you want to go? And I thought, yeah, I do want to go. So we went, and yeah, there they were in the booth with their crochet blankets and those fleece blankets. And I looked pretty good that day. I'd been at work, had my work clothes on, looked good, felt good. And I saw Mr. Husband number 2, Mr. Hot Hands, as we like to call him. And yeah, he looked like crap. So now come on, I'm saying that in a nice way. Let's just say I looked better, okay? So I just marched up there and said, hey, what's going on? And his mom was there, and we talked, and we left on a good note. I was finally ready to accept everything and just move on. And so ever since then, now and then, I'd go to Gordyville, and I never saw Mr. Hot Hands again. I always saw her, or her and her husband, my ex-in-laws, or his sister. So, but anyway, the last 2 times I went in September, and his mom was there, and he was there, and I talked to them quite a bit. And the next thing I knew, in October, she had died. She died unexpectedly of a heart attack. So I didn't even go that month. I had no reason to go. And went back in November, and the dad was there. The dad and the sister. And I gave him my condolences and whatever. And I didn't have enough cash because I already bought something else, but I wanted to buy something that she had made. So I came back the next month, December, and I bought some dish rags that she made. so Mr. Hot Hands was there, and he said, next month, January, we're going to be selling my mom's yarn and fabric. I'm like, okay, depending on the weather, I'll be there. Well, I went. I saw Mr. Hot Hands at another vendor, you know, buying movies or something. So I went on over and I talked to the sister, and she had the yarn priced way too high. Sorry, Rhonda, you did. It was like retail, and this is a flea market. And I'm like, eh. But then I saw this tote full of odds and ends. And I'm like, how much for that tote? She's like, oh, I don't know, $25. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you $25 for it. She goes, but you can't have the tote. I'm like, well, I need that tote. But she goes, well, I got some big bags here. So she had them Flex Force garbage bags. Well, it filled up 2 of the 13-gallon Flex Force garbage bags. And that's what you saw on my shawl video laying all over the floor. Okay, now to the point of this video. That's how I got the yarn, okay? And I'm hoping they come to their senses and mark that other yarn down. So, I've been crocheting granny squares. And I'm going to go get the book where I got the pattern. Okay, it's interweave, classic crochet blankets. And mine looks nothing like theirs because I didn't have those colors and I didn't have the right kind of yarn. But I just needed a basic pattern. La la la. Where are you? There it is. So I did 2 rounds of the same, and then 1, 2, 3 rounds of different colors, and then 2 rounds on the last color. And I chose shades of mauves and pinks, burgundy, and it's going to be real pretty. And I think I have right now at least 36. At least to this size, and about half of them are all the way like this and half of them are like this. But I thought maybe we would just do a granny square. It's very basic crochet, been around forever. Who knows who thought it up? Hippies used to make vests out of them. Start with a slip knot. This is how I hold my yarn because it can keep a tension on it. And the one thing I try to, when I finally got this part through to my granddaughter, she really took off. You got to hold on to this. And you chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how I'm holding on to that? And then I just, yeah. Okay, you make a circle, one circle, like so, like so. Chain 3 for your first double crochet. Yarn over, go through, 1, 2. That's why it's called a double crochet. 2. Now I am crocheting over this little tail. Then I can trim it off later. Okay, so you have 3 double crochets, you chain 2. 3 more double crochet. This is not a crochet lesson. This is just a granny square lesson. And at the end, I'm going to show you the next one I have planned, or it may be the border for this one. I don't know. I just don't know. I haven't got that far yet, and I'm dreading having to sew those things together. Okay, when you get to, you're going to have 4 groups of 3 double crochet. Then you make your last chain 2, and you're going to come in here and slip stitch in the top of that chain 3 that you started with. Now what I've been doing with all these is slipping across this first group into the first chain 2, and that's where you're going to start your next round. 1, 2, 3, and you. Okay, let me show you on here. So we did this round. Now we're starting this round, and you're going to have it's going to be a little bit different in these corners. So you're going to make 2 groups of 3 double crochet in each corner with chain 2 between them. Now you're only going to chain 1, and you go to the next loop, and you're making 2 groups of 3 double crochet. I was afraid I wasn't going to find any colors of yarn that I liked, because I like dark colors, and Patsy, she liked pastels, but she did venture off into these darker colors, so that was good. But there was a bunch of baby yarn, and there's a bunch of cotton yarn, which I'm making dish rags out of. I'll show you that on another video. I'm knitting those right now. And you end with chain 1, slip into that top of the chain 3 you started with, and I've just been doing this with all of them, and once you get a habit going, you just want to keep it going, but this way I'm pretty sure it's not going to come undone. Slip into that, chain 1, pull that. There you have the beginning of your granny square. And I have this habit of like squaring them up as I go. Like, square that thing up. Okay, next color. Not my favorite, but good for exampling. Make your slip knot. Okay, the corner that you ended in. Hold that little tail down. Insert your hook, grab your loop. Now you're going to chain 1, 2, 3. And you're going to hold these 2 tails to the left. And you're going to make 1, 2, 3, chain 2. 1, 2, 3. In your corners, you're always going to have 2 groups of 3 double crochet with chain 2 between. In every corner. Now, this is just hold it back like that, because I trim that off at the end of the thing. Okay, chain 1. Now, in this chain 1 loop that you made on the last round, you're going to make 3 double crochet. And in the corner, you go back to your two groups of 3. So what I did was I made up a bunch of these centers out of at least, well, I didn't bring them in, but 1, 2, 4 different yarns I used. Then I used pink, blue, or purple for the next round, and then a yellow for the next round, and then this variegated in 2 different colorways. This one was darker. It's granny square. It's a scrap. You could make every single one of them different if you wanted to. I like the ones, the vintage ones, and the last round is black, and the colors just pop off of them. I like those. Okay, we're back at the start of this, and you slip stitch into that first chain and slip stitch across into the loop, chain 1, trim, pull that off, square it up. Now what I'm going to do here, you don't have to, but I do, is I trim that, and I trim these, not too close. So there you have round 2. Okay, you can probably guess what's next. And I'm just going to start it, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more. But you just keep doing this. I was listening to a Pendergast novel by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. It's kind of hard to watch anything on TV and pay attention, but because I prefer to just listen. Like with the TV, you got to look up and see what's going on. But there have been some interesting things I've found on Hulu. This time you're going to have 2. You're going to chain 1 again. See, you have those 2 groups of 3. Every round around you add a group of 3 to the side. Well, I'm just going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, I'm going to go get the yarn that I'm going to use for something else. Show you another color combo. And I've been researching on how to join them, because I want something easy, but I want it to look good. and how to finish it all the way around. So I'll be right back. So I'm gonna do a bunch with the red in the middle, and then these colors. Red in the middle, and then these colors. And I have yarn. Lord, do I have yarn. So I'll go up and dig in that. I just think that's going to be pretty. And kind of traditional with that red in the middle. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you. This is worsted weight yarn, and I'm using a G, but you could use an H if you crochet tight. I crochet loose. It doesn't look really loose, but my gauge is always bigger, so I have to go down a hook. But yeah. G. Okay, I want to show you the dishcloth. This is called a ball band. Well, there was a bunch of these little odds and ends like this. But there was this thing. So I'm going to knit these until I run out. It's probably going to be run out of this first. So I like to measure like this. So I got a couple more repeats to go. It's a 2 repeat pattern. And I just love how that feels. That's the back. But it's real textural, and the pattern is written to be bigger, but I wanted to get as many as I could, so you're supposed to start with 45 stitches. I only went with 33. So that's my video for today. Please subscribe. I need friends. Let's get this uploaded. I don't know if I'm going to work. The roads are supposed to be slick. I have to drive 60 miles, and I'm just not comfortable doing that. So it may be a video / crochet, and my fingers are so sore from crocheting with this yarn. Because I don't usually, I use that baby alpaca and stuff to knit. or I crochet with thread. But, oh wait, one more thing. I got all that other wool. I marked this. It's like a giant doily blanket. So, I don't have enough of one color from this latest purchase to do that. But I do have that wool that I bought before. So, that's a definite maybe. I have it marked. A definite maybe. Okay, now I'm done.